The show may have been in Wales, but forget about the Red Dragon. We got a red thumbs down once again for AEW Dynamite. Alrighty guys, welcome back to Fog Wrestling. That was my attempt at a Welsh accent, and considering I openly admit I suck at Welsh accents, I think that one was pretty damn good. But why is that relevant? Well, truth be told, it's not really relevant, but Dynamite did take place in Cardiff, Wales, as did AEW Collision. So yeah, we've got Collision, we've got Dynamite in Cardiff, Wales. I'm trying to put the accent on without even putting it on there. What the hell? Right, okay, let's get back to normal here. Normal services have resumed. So both Collision and Dynamite were in Cardiff this week ahead of AEW All In. Both shows were taped. You would expect that to have a negative impact on the rating. Did it? Well, let's look. This week's Dynamite is down. Nothing new there. Dynamite's down. It's got a nice wee red arrow. But in fairness, it's actually not down that much. So it's only down 1% from last week's show. Last week, AEW Dynamite did 703,000. This week, AEW Dynamite does 698,000. So once again, Dynamite dipping back into the 600 territory. But when you consider that A, it was a taped show, so the American audience would have knew the results anyway if they bothered to check. And B, there was actually a shitload of Democratic conventions on or whatever. The DNC, Democratic National Convention, was on pretty much all night. When you factor in both of those things, I was actually expecting a bigger loss in the ratings. I was. But then again, I mean, it's AEW, Dynamite fans, wrestling fans in general. Do they really care about politics? Are they really going to tune in to watch the Democratic National Convention? Is anybody tuning in to watch that Democratic National Convention? I can't imagine anybody wants to see that shit, so maybe it's not a surprise. But yeah, this week's Dynamite does 698,000. In the key demo, it did a 0.24, which is again actually up. That's up then. Last week did a 0.23. So the key demo this week up 4%. Pretty good there then for Dynamite. And interestingly, if we look at the top 10 shows on cable for Wednesday night ranked by the key demo, Dynamite was in 9th place. Now a lot of times Dynamite's in 1st place and Tony Khan rants and raves about this. Dynamite this week was in 9th place, but it was only beaten by 2 different networks, and it was basically the same thing. CNN and MSNBC, and it was just all the different coverages of the Democratic National Convention. So just a combination of CNN and MSNBC from 1st down to 8th, and then you had Dynamite in there in 9th spot. So overall, in terms of viewership, this episode is up 3% over if you take it over the last month. So the last trailing 4 weeks, Dynamite's been averaging at 680,000. So this shows up 18,000 on the last 4 weeks approximately overall. And then in terms of key demo, the last 4 weeks the key demo has been averaging out at 0.22. And again, this shows up on that by 9%. So it's not like Dynamite, they're not doing great. Okay, let's just say that. Okay, AEW Dynamite, AEW in general, Tony Khan, any All Elite Wrestling show, they're not doing great. But I do think they're recovering a little bit. They had a period where things were looking really shaky. They had that Dynamite that did like 502,000. They had a couple of Dynamites that did really low, 600,000. I think they had one that did 603 and then one that did 611. I think they also had like a 620 or something in there. So they had some shows that were really, really low. And then, of course, they had those 2 back-to-back shows that did like high 700s and almost broke back into the 800,000. So look, Dynamite right now, it's not a great show. The ratings show that. However, I do think they have stabilised a little bit. And I predicted that they were going to go under 500k. I probably take that back now. I'm looking at it. I don't think they'll drop under 500,000 this year. But then again, I mean, it can change quickly. You know, it can change quickly. But I think this is the 20th week. I think it's the 20th week now in a row where Dynamite has been under 800k. So ever since they showed that CM Punk footage, they've not got back over 800k, which is kind of crazy. And I believe that is 20 weeks in a row. Well, let's count it here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Alright, 19 then. This is the 19th week in a row where they've failed to hit 800k. I don't think they'll hit 800k by the end of the year. Some people don't think they'll ever hit 800k again. I think they probably will. I think there's always like one signing out there, or one big announcement, or one big thing that could get you to 800k. I think Danielson winning the title All In's got potential. I think the next Dynamite could perhaps get over 800k with a championship change. So, but in terms of what are they going to do first, over 800k or over under 500, you know, it's tricky because right now they're just not really near either of them. So, yeah, that's the ratings aspect of Dynamite. Let's look at the YouTube clips then. So, first place we have MJF and Will Ospreay come face to face. This was the highest rated feud video on YouTube, 231,000. Second place, we have Danielson held nothing back and confronts Swerve, 194,000. Third place, Who Will Go to Wembley? Tony Storm versus Saraya for the championship, 123,000. Fourth place, 1100,000. We had CEO versus DMD, which is really poor. Fifth place, we had FTR and Darby Allin versus Jack Perry and the Young Bucks, 97,000. Sixth place, 77,000. Claudio and Okada pushed themselves to the limit for the Continental Championship. Seventh place, 20,000. MJF and Will Ospreay face off ahead of All In London, which was just like basically, you know, a second little miniature clip from the original one they had that was in first place. And then this is really concerning for Jericho here. In 8th place, with 15,000 views, the Dynamite Kid Tommy Billington faces FTW champion Chris Jericho. Only 15,000 people have watched that Jericho clip, and it's been approximately 17 hours. To get 15,000 views in 17 hours is shocking. And Jericho's the first ever undisputed world champion. You know, this guy, he's the guy that came in and he was brought in to be the big draw. He was the key name. You know, he was the guy that was coming in to launch Aew Dynamite. And now it looks like he needs launched out the door. It just doesn't look like people are interested in Chris Jericho anymore. Is what it is. I think Jericho's sucked for years. I do think his current gimmick is probably the best thing he's done in a while. But yeah, people aren't interested in it. So, is what it is, guys. That's a breakdown of the numbers. But 15,000, man, that's shocking. Shocking numbers there for Y2J, Chris Jericho. King of the world. Well, he's certainly not the king of the fucking YouTube views. Calls himself the demo god. I don't think so. Demo fraud, mate. YouTube fraud. Anyway, that's it. Catch you in the next one, guys. Till then, peace.